Alright, we're gonna look at some more Modern Horizons spoilers. Starting with this one with angry birds screaming at the camera, called Battle Screech. How appropriate. This is a reprint from Judgment, it looks like. Wow, a $5 card from Judgment. That's pretty rare. A $5 uncommon from Judgment. It's pretty surprising to me. What is the most expensive card? This, I guess, not too surprising. This actually sees play. There's your Battle Screech. In 8th place. Yeah, okay. Yeah, alright. Anyways, this is a fine card. You can get a lot of birds quite quickly, given that you can flash back with it pretty much immediately for no additional mana. Given that the flashback ability is causing these birds to tap, they're not summoning sick, they can still pay that cost. It's a pretty solid limited play. Ooh! Oh, interesting. So this is the big tree man, I'm thinking. In the very first unveiling of Modern Horizons, there was a big picture in the back of a guy that was like half tree, half human. Or I guess now actually 2 people, a tree and a person. This is our other Planeswalker. Turn up to 1 target land card from your graveyard to your hand. 1 damage to any target. Emblem with instants and sorceries in your graveyards have Retrace. Retrace is where you can replay it by discarding land, right? Yeah. Discarding a land in addition to paying its other costs. So you can do this as many times as you want, which is pretty cool. It's not like it gets exiled afterwards. So as long as you can keep picking up lands, or drawing lands, or anything like that. I don't know, this is pretty cool. It's very self-synergetic, which I like. The problem is, you're not really getting that much payoff from it until you actually get the emblem. Until then, it's just sort of like a nice engine helping you hit land drops if that's important to you. Being kind of like a pseudo Crucible of Worlds. It's still alright, and this second ability is actually pretty nice. The sort of targeted damage. The fact that you can hit 3 times with it. I don't know, yeah. This seems pretty solid. Seems pretty solid. I'm not really sure what deck wants to play this. It doesn't seem like it's powerful enough to become an engine into itself. It would have to be some sort of like red-green mid-range thing, or maybe a Jund mid-range thing. It's playing a lot of fetches. You're trying to get to the point where you're retracing your Culligan's commands and stuff. You're doing this to ping down something you don't like. I'm not really sure what. Delvers? Are people still scared of Delvers? I don't know. It's like, it just seems solid. Like, it just seems like if there's a space for this to do something, it's going to do it quite well. I don't know, you have to activate it 4 times to get the retrace. It's quite interesting. The 2-mana Planeswalker returns. I feel like this is leagues better than Tibalt. I feel like people are going to try to make this work. At the very least, people will want to kill this before the retrace emblem comes online. So it's going to gain you some life, basically, tanking some hits. Excuse me. Yeah, I don't know. Seems alright. Okay, let's move on. Plague Engineer. Nice battlefield, choose a creature type. So it's creature Tribal Hazing. They don't really do too much Tribal Hazing because usually Tribal is not really super competitive outside of like elves, humans, and spirits. Okay, never mind. There's actually quite a few pretty good Tribal decks in Modern. But usually you don't like hose things this directly when it comes to Tribal. I'm not sure if this is actually that great. Well, it's only a 3-drop compared to something like, what, Curse of Death's Hold? What's that, 5? I really just don't think this is the sort of hate you're trying to run. Don't think so. Because, like, Why not just put creature removal? And that's something relevant in all sorts of matchups in your sideboard. This, like, doesn't even really slow down something like humans, where they're all just getting tons of +1/+1 counters and stuff. Yeah, I don't know. It's alright. It's interesting. Ooh, other cats you control get +2/+1, which is, of course, the Savannah Lion stats. So you just, like, double lion all of your lion. Oh, wait! I just got a joke with this one, too. Hold on. Sometimes I feel like I'm missing some jokes. There's another card called Engineered Flag. That's what this is a reference to. Hey, there we go. Alright, sure. Nah, can't sneak one past me. Well, you can briefly. Yeah, so this is everybody turns into a Savannah Lion. Which back in the day was a sick, nasty card. But, things have kind of progressed in terms of creature power levels since then. This thing is neat. I don't know where Cat Tribal is. There's like that guy, Burmaz. That's not how you spell his name. I think this will find it. This guy, Brimaz. I always thought this guy was on the verge of being pretty solid. If there was kind of a white weenies deck that cared more about just aggressive attacking than kind of that like locky sort of human play, disrupting type stuff. You can also still run Leonine Arbiter in this hypothetical deck I'm whipping up here. I don't know what else you want to put in it. Probably none of these guys, but whatever. Because this is a pretty powerful Anthem effect. This guy himself only has 1 toughness. It's kind of rough. And I love this, that we're back to quoting from the Love Song of Night and Day. I love the Love Song. The Love Song of Night and Day. All of your terms were ignored. How do I do flavor text? I don't know. I think they're all great. And the fact that you can... It just was woven across so many sets, all the way back to Visions. From Visions to... I guess it was only in Visions and Mirage, but whatever. Well, there was some in 6th edition, but I'm sure this is just a reprint of something from Visions and from Mirage. Okay. Alright, whatever. I'm still just happy. This card is cool. Wings of Abandon. Exile target creature you don't control. For each creature exiled this way, its controller searches their library for... so... It's like a path, Journey to Nowhere. But then you can overload for a mass Journey to Nowhere. So 6 for a complete board wipe. It's pretty reasonable for like basically a Plague Wind. They get a bunch of basic lands, but we can see from the success of Settle the Wreckage that's not really a deterrent enough to stop you from playing a card. Usually by the time you're in desperate, I need to board wipe type situations, it doesn't really matter that they get to ramp too much. Yeah, this is pretty sweet. It's 2 mana more than Settle, but it hits their non-attacking creatures too. And then, you know, just playing it for 2 mana Journey to Nowhere isn't the worst thing either. I'm thinking... might get in there. Maybe. Maybe. It's like kind of some sideboard tech in some matchups. The fact that it exiles is pretty sweet too. 6 mana, would have to be kind of at the top of your curve. It's alright. Okay, more slivers. Ooh, tap to start a card, draw a card. So, unfortunately, there's a couple different ways that looting works. There's, of course, the draw, then discard, or the discard you can always pay. Then there's the draw as payment to, or discard as payment to draw, which is what this has, which is pretty much strictly worse than the other one, which is tap, discard, then draw, where the tap pays for the effect and thus you get all of the parts of the effect that you can, rather than the effect being contingent on whether or not you can discard. And that was actually something that I kind of overlooked with our spicy boy here. Get it? Because he's seasoned, so he's spicy. Is that his ETB effect, discarding 2 cards, doesn't actually care that you discard cards. I got kind of misled by this, that I was like, oh, you're going to try to discard 2 non-land cards. No, you're going to play this when you're hellbent, and it's just draw 2 for free. Now I'm kind of like, ooh, okay. Now I'm kind of seeing this guy. It's more like a value play. It's not really about the elementals at all. It's just getting a 2/2 for 3 mana and drawing 2 cards, which is pretty nice. Alright, at any rate, this is not that. Here you actually have to discard the card if you want to draw a card. But still, this is pretty sweet. Only the Spinal Reflex Arc from the Heart. Ah, cool. I like this kind of investigation on behavioral patterns of the slivers. Reminds me of Dungeon Meshi. What would this sliver taste like? Shrimp? I'm thinking shrimp. I'm thinking a big juicy shrimp. Anyways, I kind of feel like this is too slow for the sliver decks. Hex Drinker. Oh, Level Up is back! Oh my god, dude, I love Level Up. Whoa. Okay, I love it. I love it so much. So it already comes down as a 2/1 for 1, which is fine. And then to level it up 3 times, it becomes a 4/4 with protection from instants. Then at 8+, it's a 6/6 with protection from everything. This is, as far as I know, only the 2nd time ever that they've used that line. Protection from everything. This and Progenitus. Oh, right. And Teferi's Protection. Pretty cool. It's some auspicious company. The legendary spell that Teferi casts to phase away an entire continent so it could avoid an apocalyptic scenario. The soul of the world, basically the embodiment of mana itself on Alara, and this big puffy snake. Yes, we certainly have some auspicious company here, but I'm okay with it. Is this guy any good? Probably not. What deck is really looking to do this? That at the end your big payoff is a 6/6 that you've sunk 9 mana into. A 6/6 that's hard to get rid of. But we already have like a million of those, and most of them don't cost so much mana. It's really cool. And I think any game that involves it playing and like stuff getting pumped into it and this kind of race, oh man, is it worth removing it yet? Is it too scary? Do I have instants to remove it? I don't know. Protection instants. The way that they word this in Japanese is kind of interesting. There's protection and then instants in brackets. And then here it's subete, everything. So I'm thinking no. Cool, but no. I just it's so cool. Protection from everything. All right. Cloud Shredder Silver. Have flying and haste. Oh baby. Okay, this one might actually be a big deal. So. Slivers. I don't really know how it's worded exactly. So there is one that gives flying, and I'm pretty sure there's one that gives haste. And I think they're like 1 mana each. So I kind of feel like a lot of sliver decks are okay with playing this instead, or also just additionally. Because the sliver, like this is so important, giving your slivers flying. And then haste allows you to just win the game on the spot way more easily, like surviving untaps, not giving them a turn to board wipe. Yeah, I think if there ever is a sliver deck, this will get in, I bet. Right? That's what I think. I don't know. It seems very pushed. Okay. What else we got? Oh, it's a goat gnat! This is not... There's goat napper. Whoa, that's not how you spell. This guy. You need to steal some goats. Untap target goat and gain control of it until end of turn. And you're thinking, what the heck? How many goats are there? Oops. There's like very few. Well, there's actually quite a few. 8. But the important thing is all of these things, all of these things are goats as well. So you can take any one of them. So that's the real thing. That's the actual play. You can even take their poor Morphon. So here they kind of dial back on the flavor a little bit. It's not just for steering goats anymore. This flavor takes a lot. But if it is a goat, it gets a bonus. This is actually pretty cheap, I think, for this one-turn steal. Gain control of target creature until the end of turn. Until end. Oh, interesting. I didn't know that. Yeah, okay. I guess it's like the same. It's the same speed as active treason. Okay. And then we've already had active treason with upsides before. Sure. Okay. Force of Rage. All right. Here we go. It's the red force. Is it going to suck? What's it gonna do? Direct damage? But everything about it so far seems to suggest direct damage, just from the glimpse of art I've had. Or it could be some sort of crazy buff spell, but that seems kind of unlikely because why would you really want to do that if it's not your turn and you're not being able to swing with whatever thing is getting double strike or whatever? So I'm thinking it's direct damage, which means it's probably not going to be great because burn, all their spells burn. So why are you sacrificing a burn spell just to burn them? Well, let's see. Ah, create 2 3/1 elemental creature tokens with trample and haste. Sacrifice those tokens at the beginning of your next upkeep. Ew. So there's no timing in which you get to actually use this cost and then also swing with your elementals, right? Because you're always going to have an upkeep before your attack step, and yeah, no, ew, I don't like it. I don't like it. The fact that you can't swing with them just puts this so out of the play, out of the intent of any deck that would consider running it. You know? Why bother having trample and haste if they're just blockers? So now you're paying 3 mana. Oh, well, that's actually not too bad either. It basically becomes kind of like a ball of lightning, that you're now paying 3 mana on your turn to get 6 trampling hasty power onto the board. So I guess it's not that bad, and then in desperation times you can throw it down to make blockers. It's not as like obviously pushed, because like I said, this is about the cost of ball lightning. It's just like a little easier to play. I guess it's okay. I guess it's okay, but I don't see this getting played, especially compared to all the other forces. Yeah, no. It's alright, I guess. It's the only one where it's like more kind of exciting to think about just paying the mana cost on your turn normally, rather than as some amazing sideboard tech to win you the game while you're tapped out, or to stop them from winning the game, more relevantly. Feaster of Fools. Oh, good. We get a big, gross demon eating a... Wow, it's only an uncommon demon. Interesting. So, Convoke and Devour. That's a fun combination of mechanics. Both of them, of course, rewarding you for going very wide. And then you just tap all those guys down and then eat them. Yum, yum, yum. So you can pay this, if this is 2 mana, then you get to have 4 guys that you can eat. This becomes an 11/11 flyer. That's pretty sweet. I'm not really sure if there is a deck for this. It's more of just like a limited thing, I guess. But it's like as pushed as I could reasonably expect it to be, I guess. Sure. Oh, Genesis, a classic. Another Judgment card that's actually worth some money. I like these cards in Judgment. I think they're very interesting. Well, I don't really... Yeah, like Anger is another one that do things from the graveyard. I think that leads to some kind of interesting degeneracy. This one is especially sweet because it can tutor up other guys from your graveyard, meaning that if you just dumped your whole graveyard into your entire library into your graveyard, and you also have some sort of mana system going, this can really basically just tutor out combo pieces and do other fun things. So yeah, it's kind of exciting to see it in Modern. I don't really know if there's a deck for it because 3 mana is actually like a lot for a lot of these types of decks that are just about abusing the graveyard. I don't think Dredge wants this. I don't think Phoenix wants this. But it's cool. It's cool that it's there. Maybe someday, and then we'll all curse it. It's like one of those cards that's just going to go from useless to infuriating in an instant. Useless, maybe later infuriating. Mox Tantalite. What the hell is a Tantalite? Okay. It's kind of ugly. So what does it do? Oh, so it's kind of like Lotus Bloom? Yeah, it's basically just Lotus Bloom but a Mox. So, I could see this being pretty nice. There might be some decks that just want to play it fairly. Moreover, this is an awesome Cascade target, just as Lotus Bloom was. And I'm not sure if we have the tools to get there in Modern. A lot of people wanted to see Shardless Agent in this set. If we had Shardless Agent, I feel like this is another card that really bumps that up. Yeah, I don't know. I'm sure Commander players will love it, because 3 turns is not that much from the start in Commander. It's already fetching 40 bucks, just because it's a Mox. You never know when a Mox turns out to be broken. I mean, sometimes you know. You look at Mox Open and you're like, oh man, I think you guys made a mistake. You realize that Metalcraft only needs 2 other artifacts. At least they had the sense to make it legendary. Yeah, I'm not entirely sold on this. I can't really envision it making that big of a splash if people are just playing it fairly. And I guess there's also like the Electro Dominance type deck that could have some fun with this. But I feel like it's too slow for those decks too. That's the only thing, is that the decks that are where you can possibly play this unfairly and cheat it out, I think it's too slow. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Czar Trade Mage. Okay, like the Baghdad, the Bazaar of Baghdad. A classic card. It's not a tap activation, which is kind of too bad. But it is still pretty sweet. Snap for a scepter, a scepter for a ruby, a ruby for a simple rug. But it's a flying rug. It's definitely an Aladdin type. The parrot and the rug and the sword. And wait, did Aladdin have a sword? It feels wrong now that Aladdin would have a sword in a kid's movie, but whatever. Pretty sweet. Stats are nicely pushed. It's a 3/4 flyer for 3. I guess the idea is that you're having card disadvantage. But, you know, if you're playing this in a deck where you're not happy to just put choice cards in the graveyard, you're making a big mistake. Oh, I forgot to put something here. Skeptical. But people will try it, I'm sure. So the question is this fast enough to be kind of like a another big body, and like the Phoenix type deck, just the really aggressive red-blue type deck is a good body and as a discard enabler. I kind of think so. I think we'll see more of this Aladdin. Maybe. Maybe not. It seems just so pushed. Pyrophobia. A card called Pyrophobia in red. Alright, a lot to love here. I love that Norin the Wary is quoted in the flavor text. If you don't know, this guy is hilarious. And basically, he just runs away from everything. And then, this is also a reference to... Oh, what's it called? But I know that it contains the cowards can't block warriors. Yeah, I was trying to remember what this word was. I knew it was like some B thing. And then I wouldn't have been able to guess Intimidator, but whatever. So, cowards can't block warriors. This is, I think, the only card that has synergy with this. Because the only time that this flavor text appears, this creature type appears. Oh, and of course, shapeshifters and changelings, of course, can't block this turn either. So that's kind of fun. That is actually extremely fun. I'm having so much fun right now. All right, Mother Bear. Oh, Mother Bear. It's a Grizzly Bear, and then once it's gone, oh, this is the same cost as the Seasoned Pyromancer. Is that kind of like a little reference, even though this is at common and that one was at mythic or something? But whatever. It's cute. I like it. I like it. Even without her, the cubs will always know their mother's love. How nice. How nice. Sure. Ooh! Legendary Bear! Legendary Bear. And it's like a bear. Look at this. Look at this bear synergy. Whenever another bear enters the battlefield, choose one. 2+1/+1 counters on target bear. Or target bear fights target bear. Whoa, whoa, whoa. I love it. Bear Tribal is online. I love that it's also a bear. Like it's a 2/2 for 2, which is a slang term for... So the slang term for that, I mean, is bear. This comes all the way back from Grizzly Bears. Classic card. What other bears we got? Bear. Could Bear Tribal really be a thing? This feels very pushed. The fact that it's 2+1/+1 counters on each additional bear, and you get to use all of your bears as targeted removal too. And then just look at the creatures you're getting. We'll find one. Find one yet. There's this guy. I mean, this isn't actually that synergistic though if you're just trying to play a bunch of bears. But there's this bear. Well, this is kind of nice actually, because your bears are probably all going to be pretty strong once you start using this. Ooh, River Bear. Fuck you, blue. Or splash blue for this bear. It's a 2/2 for 1. That's some bear value. How about this bear, which has magic, but it uses the magic to just remain equally powerful to the non-magical bears? Oh, striped bear? Oh, that's not modern legal. Dang. Or, actually, this card is pretty sweet, Werebear. It ramps you, becomes big. I don't know, man. Bear Tribal. I really want to believe. I really want to believe, and yet I cannot actually believe. I don't think Bear Tribal is happening. I'm sorry, guys. But EDH players, if you want to make Bear Tribal, sure, maybe. Changeling Outcast. Can't block and can't be blocked. Neat. Alright. So it's kind of like it has Shadow. Flavorfully, it kind of looks like it has Shadow too. But I don't think we're ever going to get Shadow again. Shadow is just kind of closed now. Alright. Generous Gift. Try target permanent. Its controller creates a 3/3 green elephant creature token. How cute. And this actually refers to some incidents in history where people were just giving each other elephants. That was like a thing that happened back in the days when it was like, look at this thing. Do you ever seen something like this in your life before? An elephant. Guess what? It's yours. Guess what? You don't know how to feed it or take care of it. Guess what? Dead elephant. Guess what? Elephant tastes pretty good. This also is a reference to stuff like Beast Within, kind of. In this vein of destroy target permanent, give them a 3/3. You get an elephant. There's also Terastodon. Thank you. Which destroys 3 permanents, and then you get up to 3 elephants. This is a pretty cool card in Cube IMO. Because there's lines where you blow up your own stuff to get more elephants. It's very interesting. Alright, Splicers skill. Ah, wow. Splice is back, huh? So pretty cool. If you don't know how Splice works, this is the thing that people always get tripped up on, is like, why would I bother splicing? It's more mana, and I need to be casting another instant anyways. But it's just, you reveal it from your hand. You don't actually play it. It doesn't go in the graveyard. You can just keep doing it and get more and more golems. So this is, of course, a reference to stuff like Blade Splicer. Or we can just look at all the Splicers. Blade Splicer is the really spooky one. But, excuse me. This was like a little cycle back in the Scars of Mirrodin block, where they all make golems, and then they each give golems their own thing. So this makes you more golems, if you're ever wanting to bring back Splicer Tribal. And Splice onto instant is actually really cool, because that means you can do this at instant speed, assuming you have a instant to piggyback off of that you can also afford. But yeah, it's cool that Splice is back. Before, I think it was only Splice on Arcane, right? Splice onto Arcane, yeah. I don't think there was ever Splice onto anything else, which made it kind of parasitic, right? That you always needed to run a whole bunch of Arcane things. But here, it's just any instant or sorcery, which is cool. I also now finally see the connection here between the Blade Splicers and stuff and Splice as a mechanic. Bravo! It's obviously the most obvious part of all of these jokes, and it took me until just now. But I love it. I love it. I love that they made that joke. Whoa! Umezawa, my boy! And his charm just does the stuff that his Jite does. +2/+2, -1/-1, or gain 2 life. Now, is this as good as Jite? No, sir. But that's cool. It's a cool reference. There it is. Ever loyal to your own best interests. Nice. And of course, it's a charm. Charm being a cheap instant where you choose one of 3 modes. And we saw this guy yesterday. So I believe we're all caught up. Yeah. Hopefully you guys are still enjoying these spoilers. I certainly am. This set is very, very interesting. Protection from everything. We live to see the day that protection from everything came through again. Okay. That's all for now. Bye-bye.